What's going on YouTube? Last year I did a power comparison between a bunch of different Godox lights that you guys seem to find very helpful in making your decisions on what lights you are going to need. So I'm doing it again this year with a whole bunch of new lighting products added to the mix. Now I'm not going to show you a behind the scenes of the test this time because that was a whole bunch of boring time lapses last time. Nobody wants to watch me go back and forth checking a meter again. Hopefully you guys can trust my results here. But what I did is I fixed a softbox in a specific position and then I brought all the modifiers and lights onto it. So the softbox didn't move in relation to the meter. Second, I made sure that there were no surfaces around that could reflect or kick back light. That way I eliminated the chance of the test getting different results just based on light reflecting into the meter. There were two tests. I did it with a 24-inch double diffuse softbox and then I did it with a 7-inch reflector. I did all the lights in both of those tests, so I'm going to talk about the results of each one. In the 24-inch double diffuse softbox test, the V860 got a f5.6 and 9/10 of a stop. The AD200 with its Fresnel head got an f11 and 1/10 stop. And with its omnidirectional head, it got an f8 and 8/10 of a stop. The AD360 version 2 got an f11 and 4/10 of a stop. The QT600 studio strobe got an f16 and 7/10 of a stop. The Godox AD600 or Explorer 600 got an f16 and 5/10 of a stop. H600 single extension head got f16 and 2/10 of a stop. And the H1200B, which if you don't know, takes two Godox AD600s and then converts it into one head, one 1200 watt head. You can see the two bulbs right in there. This got an f22 and 3/10 of a stop. So let's talk about some of those results. First, take the speedlight result with a grain of salt. Just like you see in the comparison between the Evol Fresnel head and the omnidirectional head, this is going to be overpowered in a softbox because it's firing through the front panel as opposed to filling up the walls of the softbox and then bouncing out the front. But we did learn between the omnidirectional heads, there's about a 0.6 stop difference between the AD360 and the AD200. The AD360 just getting 0.6 stops more than the AD200 with both having the omnidirectional heads. Also, that shows that the studio strobe, the QT600 is just a little bit more powerful than the Godox AD600B. Speaking of which, I just got this. This thing is massive. If you know how big this guy is, this is absolutely huge. And I'll talk about this in my QT600 review, but look at this. So much improved over the handle on the AD600. I want this handle on my AD600, big time. Anyways, slightly more powerful than the AD600. Using the H600B, I lost about 0.2, 0.3 of a stop when using over a direct comparison with the AD600. And then the H1200 was 0.8 stops more powerful than the AD600. So in addition to testing with the softbox, I also tested them in a 7-inch reflector to see just how much variance there was in a different modifier. Again, we got a very inflated V862 result as well as a Fresnel head result. Out of these two, the V860 version 2 got a f11 and 2/10 of a stop. The AD200 with its Fresnel head got an f22, super powerful. However, with the omnidirectional head, it got an f16 and 4/10 of a stop. The AD360 version 2, again, 6/10 of a stop more than the omnidirectional head of the AD200, coming in at f22. The QT600 version 2 got a whopping f32 and 2/10 of a stop, which was the same exact number that the Godox AD600 got, f32, 2/10 of a stop. The H600B only lost 2/10 of a stop of efficiency in the 7-inch reflector, and it got an f32. The H1200B got a f32 and 9/10 of a stop, making it 0.7 stops more powerful than a single AD600. So those results were really consistent between the two different modifiers. So what does this tell us about the gear? It always tells us speedlight results are always going to be inflated in meter tests because they're not accounting for bounced light. But it also tells me this H1200B is an absolute freak in terms of power. To be almost a full stop more powerful than the 600 is really crazy. So I don't foresee needing that much power in a lot of circumstances, but hey, it's cool to have for some unique projects. It also kind of tells me that this AD360 is pretty irrelevant at this point. Only coming in at 0.6 stops more than the AD200. I'm not going to be using a power pack just for those little 0.6 of a stop. I'm basically going all the way with this AD200, and I think I'll be selling or just leaving this in the studio as a kicker. Also, this QT600, I haven't got into my full test and unboxing, but I didn't want to skip it. This thing's an absolute freak in terms of power as well. Obviously, it's not portable. This is something that you're gonna be using with wall power. Yes, you can use it with like a Vagabond, and it's gonna be great to use this in the studio. They also have 2 other versions that I didn't need 3 of these, so I didn't even ask to get another one, but they have a QT400 version 2 and a QT1200 version 2. I would definitely be curious to see the max output from that 1200 watt head, but certainly satisfied with this one. So I just want to give you guys this updated information. I'll make a graph with all this information in one place so that you guys can refer to it when making a choice between all these products. Hope this helped you out. Leave a like if it did. Subscribe if you want to see more. I'll see you guys next time, YouTube. Yeah.